Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Just Like Bruddas podcast, episode 3. I am Kai Jones, the owner of WJG Sports. And to my left is...
Laika Bibi, his brother.
Basically.
Yep.
And of course, we're back here talking about sports in Eastern North Carolina this week. We had a big weekend with the East-West All-Star games. Of course, starting with basketball, then the soccer, then the football. So we're gonna go in chronological order here. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about basketball. You weren't there for either of the games because why?
I was on a plane.
Mr. Hoop State. Shout out to Hoop State.
Yeah, I got this. Yeah, I got the shirt on vacation, but I was actually in Barcelona, Spain, for the last 2 weeks-ish. Pretty much, and I was on the plane back, so unfortunately I couldn't make it out for Monday's games. But I heard it was one really competitive game and one not so competitive game. Is that right?
That sounds about right. We have the box scores right here on the phone. We're gonna look at the women's games first. 80-77, I believe it was. Let me make sure.
I think it was. What was it? Team East.
Of course, the Team East did win, but it was 81-78. Okay, so I was a point off. The MVP was Alexandria Scruggs
from E. Smith High School. She had a great senior year out there in Fayetteville area, and I'm not surprised that she would be MVP of a game like this because she's a high-level player.
Right, of course, you would know better than I would, some of these players. Of course, I saw the game. The game was very entertaining, of course, high-level basketball. I felt like it was sometimes a little bit too much, the ball stuck a little bit too much. But, sometimes in the All-Star games, you got kids who want to go out there and shine and do their thing, and I'm glad they got to go out there and do their thing, But like I said, it was a great showcase for women's basketball. Of course, one of your girls was actually out there, Nana Reddick.
Yes, from South Central High School. She'll be playing at Elizabeth City State starting this winter under head coach Robert Duck, and they had a real good season. The Falcons. I know they kind of got overshadowed by the boys a little bit, but they had a really good run in the 4A playoffs.
She had 9 points, 2 rebounds, and a steal in that game. She reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson. She wears number 11. She just shot. She played good defense. I liked her game a lot.
Yeah,
and
she
of
has
course,
she plays really well.
You cover a lot of Pamlico County before.
I have been out there a couple times, and they
covering the Jones Senior more than
and some other area teams in that Coastal Plains 1A conference. But Janiyah Jones from Pamlico County also was on that East team. State champion, first state championship in school history in girls basketball for the Hurricanes. She'll be playing at Lewisburg College this winter.
6 points, 2 assists, and still in this game.
But during her season by herself, sometimes she would outscore teams by double digits. That's how crazy good she was, especially in conference play and into state tournament play, where they absolutely needed every single point she scored.
Right, of course. I think it was, like I said, I think it was a good showcase for girls basketball. It's just as strong as boys basketball as far as talent-wise.
Yeah, people kind of look at the boys basketball in this state. Obviously, it's so big here, but people kind of tend to overlook these young lady hoopers we have out here, and there are some very, very talented girls that just go straight hoop, get buckets,
Right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the men's game, of course.
Was it a game?
It was very ugly. It was very ugly. It was clear that, from talking to some other reporters who talked to the West coach said that he wanted the team to come out there and play team basketball, to play together, to go out there and prove that they could play a role just like they would in college, while the East was just kind of go out there and having fun and playing in the All-Star game. But, of course, a couple of our guys was there. Anthony Council, he...
Smithfield Selma?
Right, Smithfield Selma. He had kind of a rough shooting night. But he played pretty well. He got some good moments. I think he crossed the Langley brother that actually played, Keyshawn Langley. He actually broke his ankles a little bit, on the screen. He kind of faked to the left and then, took it back to the right.
And that's a real good player. He kind of shook a little bit.
Right.
Him and his twin brother are both going to be playing at UNCG. They're also state champions for Southwest Guilford. And speaking of which, I believe another Southwest Guilford Cowboy won MVP. Is that correct?
Jaden Turner, right?
Yeah. So I think he went. What did he go? 11 for 17 from the field. It was something like that. He's another
11 for 17.
Yeah.
Correct. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks,
he
and
does
a steal.
he does a little bit of everything. That Southwest Guilford team was so good. 3A state champ that just ran through everybody. I mean, it's
I was
not
say
even
that was
surprising.
only 19. That was only 19 minutes too.
Yeah,
he's. I mean,
there's
really,
still really good
the West
program out there
ran
as
away
well.
with it, 119 to 80. Kind of
a lot worse than that, though, right?
Yeah, it got up to as close to I think it got over 45 at one point in time. It was just a really ugly game for an All-Star game. But of course, also shout out to Majay Dodd. He was there. Show was Shaquem Phillips, who you covered. Shout out to both of them, and then also Anthony, because they all are enrolled in school already. So they made the trip, from UNC Wilmington and then also Fayetteville State to play in this game. So respected them for coming out and trying to give the fans a show. Majay 19 points, team high for the East.
No surprise that UNCWC.
Great way to cap off a great career. The one thing that I hope continues for him is that him and Shaquem, they obviously showed some chemistry in that game. There was a lot of high pick and rolls, and Sha was able to find Majay a couple times, and then also Majay was able to just dominate in the post. Really, the West, they surrounded him with defenders all night. I think they put, whenever he touched the ball, 3 or 4 defenders all dubbed down. Like you can see it on the video.
Majay Dodd just draws attention. He's
Yeah.
done this for the last 2 or 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
He'll be on the post. Everyone will send a double or triple team at him, and he'll make the right play out of it. And he has a lot of skills to get to create shots for himself, to create shots for his teammates. He's all around very good player, and UNCW is going to be really happy they got him and Shaquem Phillips.
Right. The one big thing that I think about for both of these guys is they're both, kind of first in school history to play in this game. Anthony, he's the first guy. Well, Anthony not. He's the first guy.
2 decades.
He's the first guy since 1998 with Kyle Stevenson for the Spartans, and then I believe Majay was actually the first men's player to play in this game. I think Letitia Dickinson, or maybe that's no, I think that's Smithfield Selma. She played in 2004 for them. But there was another young lady, I can't think of her name right now, from Green Central, who played back in 2003 as well. But yeah, both of those guys, they come from small communities. Well, not necessarily Anthony, but he comes from a community that's more inner city. Majay comes from a small, kind of rural country, and both of them represent their communities really well. They're very good examples for the young guys, and they are guys who left a lasting mark on their schools.
Absolutely. Yes, he totally nailed it. I mean, Majay Dodd comes from Greene County, an area that loves its basketball, loves the Rams basketball program. Obviously, being coached by an all-time great Ram, Theodore Blue Edwards, helps a lot.
And speaking of that too, talking to David Bryant, the AD, he said that he's pretty sure Majay is the all-time leading scorer in school history.
Shout out to Coach Bryant, by the way.
Yeah, and I think he said that Dante Johnson would be second. So, when you look at that Rams team, that school just saw two all-time greats for that school come out of it, really.
And a very good run as well.
Right.
East Regional title, another East Regional Finals appearance.
Well, 2 East Regional Finals appearances
Yes,
to go with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 straight years for
absolutely.
both of those guys.
Yes, correct.
There's so much you could say about Majay Dodd and what he means to Green Central, but he's just an outstanding young man, and UNCW's got a great one coming. Of course, Philip Burwell also played well in that game. Wanted to shout him out. He did a really good job.
Yeah, Millbrook High School graduate. He's I don't remember where he's going to play, but he played against South Central and Shaquem Phillips and the crew in that 4A East regional final.
Right. And then your guy George Jones from Pamlico County.
Yes,
played.
he did. Yes, he did get to play.
Late ad. It was
a late edition, and he was also part of a Pamlico County team in 2018 that went to states. I think they fell a little bit short in that game.
Right. Yeah, they lost.
But he played really well over his time with the Hurricanes, and it was really nice to see him get some action in an all-star game of that caliber against really good players.
Right. Now, of course, we're going to go to your favorite sport for real. You know, Leica has deemed himself a high school basketball aficionado. This guy is actually a soccer guy.
Yes, soccer is actually my favorite sport people. And
so, you know, you were at both of those soccer games. You know, what from the girls' game really stood out for you?
Oh, man. It was just completely high level. Both teams, both East and West teams, I'm really sad that there had to be a loser in that game. But the East All-Stars ended up winning 3-2. Alex Kerr from Chapel Hill, who's going to Vanderbilt next year. I believe she's going to be playing soccer at Vanderbilt, which is a really good SEC school. She had two absolute stunning goals, absolutely stunning. Kind of the same way. She opened up her body with her right, and then got the ball onto her right foot. Just curled two beauties in.
One of them was unbelievable.
Like it was like from our angle, it just looked like.
I wish I had gotten video of it, but it was like she was like 30, 40 yards out, and then curved in.
I was just like, oh my goodness!
Like literally, you could see it just like
it just looked good off her foot the minute she kicked it. I was just like, oh my
right. Shout out High School OT. You know, you got to go and check that goal out. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they definitely have highlights of that.
They did a great job of live broadcasting this week. You know, shout out to our guy J. Mike Blake, who's probably going to be a guest at some point on the show. But shout out to him; he was actually commentating for that game, and it was very high level. You know, Casey Wilkins, she did a great job in goal for the East All-Stars.
That was going to be my next one. Yes, she made 6 saves. One kind of in the last around 2 minutes.
Yeah, around 2 minutes.
Last 2 minutes of the second half to preserve the win for her team. There are a lot of Johnston County representatives in that game.
Right, of course, Coach Federal, who finished,
absolutely.
1-0 in All-Star play because you only get one time to do this game. And then, of course, Kaylin Sandiford, who was a late ad. And then a Wayne County kid, Madison Sullivan, actually the second female soccer player from Wayne County to ever play in the game. So she was both of them were late ads, Kaylin and Madison. But they both came out and played really hard. Didn't get on the board, but they did their job and was able to get the 3-2 win, which is that's the most important thing is getting the win, having the experience, and just enjoying that moment.
That's the thing about soccer. You don't have to score to make an impact.
Right.
You can make an impact in so many ways playing the sport, and they definitely made an impact on the game, and they represented their respective schools very well.
Oh, and by the way, Casey Wilkins, she was talking about it after the game that, she's only a D3 goalie. You watch her play, I'm like, wow, that's a D3 goalie, playing against a bunch of D1s, and she held her own 6 saves, like he said. It's hard sometimes. People think, D1 is the most important thing. You know what? D1 is great. But
playing a college sport is important.
I was going to say, but D2, D3, NAIA, whatever.
If you get any type of offer to play a college sport, it's great. No matter what level it's at. And
you're a high-level player. You're one of the top in the country.
Absolutely. And Casey Wilkins proved that she can hold her own with anybody.
Right.
She was tough as nails out there. And by the way, she did allow 2 goals, but both on the stat sheet is 2 goals, but both of the goals weren't really her fault.
Right.
Speaking of high-level soccer, the boys' game was also pretty high-level in a different way. Right.
Yeah, it was a defensive contest, 1-0 for the West. What did you really see from it, Mr. Soccer?
I saw exactly that. Both teams trying to play a little possession soccer, trying to create ways, doing the little things, trying to create chances to score. Both teams had some half chances early. Not really like a really major big chance until that goal happened, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing that I saw, from the East, coached by, Rosewood coach Eddie Maldonado, is just exactly what he likes to do. I remember I was finishing up a game at Princeton. It was a girls' game, and I think they went down 2-0 or either 3-1, and they were able to put in 3 goals to win in overtime. But Coach Pilkington said, it's hard to score against Rosewood just because of the type of defensive possession soccer that they play, and that's exactly what the East came out and did. They really, it looked like they were playing like a Rosewood soccer team, and he just did a good job. He didn't expect to get nominated. He said he actually hung up the call a few times before.
Because it was a 336 number, which is a Greensboro phone number.
And he said he does not know anyone in Greensboro, so he did not answer.
The good news is he knows me now.
And he's from Greensboro, so now he knows somebody from Greensboro. But of course, we also had some Johnston County representatives in, Dennis Andino and Hunter Lee. Hunter Lee over 100 goals scored for his career. He got one shot, wasn't on goal, but it was hard to get even shots on goal. I think there was only about 3 for the East that they got. I want to say, if I can look at I don't have a stat sheet right in front of me.
Giovanni Abro, shout out to him as well.
Giovanni Abro, came from Rosewood as well.
Absolutely.
Coach Maldonado talked about, how hard he's worked and, how he's been so consistent over his career. So, it was a great opportunity for him to get that chance. Both of them were the first from Rosewood to ever go to this game to play for soccer. So that's big. Of course, Wayne County, it's not really a soccer place, but to be able to go out there and represent and play well, that's important for Wayne County. Yes. And then of course Johnson County, we also had Dennis Andino from Clayton, great defender. He is going to, I can't remember which college in New York he said, but
I think he said Elmira College, Division III.
Yeah, but he's big time. He played that back line and he anchored it for 80 minutes straight.
Yeah, he played the entire game.
Yeah. So
it looked like he wasn't tired at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, we got interviews and stuff online, on the YouTube that you can go and check out.
And subscribe.
Please subscribe and turn on the post notifications. But he was just intense. He anchored the back line. He stopped a lot of good opportunities, by cutting off some angles and things like that. And anything else that you want to add, Mr. Soccer?
I think you nailed it. I mean, it was two different styles of games, the girls and the boys game. Right. The girls game was a little bit of end-to-end stuff because they were just going at it.
I remember we were talking to the ref, and the ref was like, "I'm tired of it."
Yeah, he was running up and down that line in the boys game. They were just going and going. It felt like the game wasn't going to stop ever. You know what I mean? And it was just fast-paced, very high-level stuff, both sides. And
I mean, the big thing I think about too is those goalkeepers for the boys teams. Oh man, they would just
they were just launching goal kicks and punts. I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they would just change in so quickly because it'd be deep in there, and they pick it up and then boom, it's already like almost in the other
team's box. Yeah, that's how good goalkeepers have to be able to do that.
But
and play
that's high level soccer that you talk about.
Exactly.
One thing that you taught me was if you want to be a good goalkeeper, you got to play with your feet. I have very limited soccer experience. I played soccer up until about the 7th grade. So I got to stand next to this guy and learn a lot about soccer. And it was fun, just watching these kids, play some of them playing their last games. I mean, soccer.
Yeah, that's the bittersweet part about a game, about a situation. Yes, absolutely. Play like some that don't really get to play at the next level.
Right.
It's their last chance to really experience something like this.
See, and soccer is such an international game too. So you got people coming in, who are going to be able to, play at the college soccer level, from overseas, and you got, people who play club and they're, that's the higher competition level, of course. So, it's hard for these public school kids to be able to find somewhere to play, college soccer at.
Absolutely.
Especially at a higher level than, like D1, So if you're D1 from public and you're playing in public school, it's like wow, you really have accomplished something. And yeah, so shout out to them. I know hope that it's an experience that they never will forget. But now we're going to kill to the other football.
Nice transition, Kai. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, the American football. We had a couple of kids from there as well. Of course, your guy Lamont Murray, who you got to get to know pretty well in the track season.
Yeah, Pamlico County. He scored, I believe, the opening touchdown. It was 3rd and 15, and it was an 81-yard touchdown.
81-yard touchdown, longest in East-West All-Star game history.
Wow, really? I didn't even know that. That's impressive.
Longest play from
that's something he'll remember. And he was coached by a very good coach, Tori Noel, who's now the head coach of the New Bern Bears.
Think about this, man. He lost that state championship game in football, but think about this. He played basketball, and
I think they won the conference.
About to say, in the same conference year, he played in a basketball state championship and a football state championship in the same calendar year. So he is big time. He showed it.
Fast.
One catch, 81 yards, touchdown.
You can make all you gotta do is make one play, make a play. That's what all football coaches say. Just make a play.
Yeah, just make a play. Now, of course, you also had Uriah Lawrence.
Yes, Uriah Lawrence, Washington PAMPAC graduate. He'll be attending North Carolina A&T, so he's going to get really familiar with Greensboro.
Nice.
He told me in an interview last night that he's not. He's hoping to walk on to A&T's football team and will major in engineering. Bottom line is he represented the PAMPAC very well. Head coach John Blank and the whole crew out there have a program that they're trying to build up and be just as good as they were a few years ago when they had that little state championship run.
Right.
But yeah, Uriah Lawrence, I think it was one catch for 6 yards.
But something like that.
No matter what, he represented his school the right way, and he always has done so.
Having a guy like Uriah Lawrence is a big stepping, go to this game is a big stepping block for any program to kind of show where it's headed. And, Washington, they've been building it for a while, and I think this year you're going to kind of see them get up there, and they'll be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in that conference. Which is a very tough conference. We always talk about
we love talking about the Eastern Carolina 2A. It just happens to be like that.
Talk about A&T. We got AJ Dupree up there as well. Green Central. So Eastern Carolina Conference is a great football conference. Of course, Connor Keel from Clayton. He was selected for the game, but didn't get a chance to play in the game because during the practices. Playing a little too hard, first time back in the pads in a little bit, and got a concussion.
Yeah,
that stinks.
Yeah, but, first of all, we hope he feels better.
Right.
First and foremost.
He was disappointed he didn't get to play, but he was happy that he got a win last high school game. The thing about it is some people have a criticism of this game because of when it takes place. Takes place in July. These kids haven't put on pads in 6 or 7 months now. So
and when they come back, they're playing in like triple-digit weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's not really a good time for football. It's already 1 week of preparation and 1 week of practice.
And football season's around the corner already for everyone else.
Right, and of course The big adjustment, I think, for the East was they kept giving it to Keon Caldwell.
I think that's a really good idea if you give it to Keon Caldwell and just let him work.
Yeah,
he straight up worked in the fourth quarter. Actually, the whole game, really.
He's probably got more carries in that game than he ever did at Tarboro because if you are familiar with the Tarboro T, it pretty much looks like 9 carries and 70 yards for every back.
Because they rotate backs like every play.
Yeah, and
even their quarterback runs too. Kamani McDaniels, who they're going to have back. State champion, by the way.
They're state champions, 2-time undefeated state champions last 2 years.
Yeah, that is a top-notch program. That is a standard program. I don't care if you're 1A or 4AA. You're a football team and you win. You're a successful football program, no matter what your classification is.
No, I think if you put them in any classification up to about 3 or 4A, 3AA, I think you're looking at somebody who can make a run.
They can still be, they'll still be a good.
But
good
yeah,
scorer.
Keon Caldwell, he showed out last night and showed
MVP.
He showed what Tarbell is all about, which is those great athletes. He, like I said, probably got more carries than he ever did at Tarboro.
They just fed him the rock in the fourth quarter.
You know the rule for Tarboro backs? You're not allowed to get less than 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, dude, I definitely believe that rule. No offense, but I haven't heard of it before.
Yeah, but
I've heard of Tarboro and how they do things out there. The thing I really liked was talking to their head coach,
Coach Craddock,
and talking and seeing the interactions between Keon Cottle and all the Tarboro representation. It's a family atmosphere out there. It's more than just a football program. Yeah. It's just everyone it's a big family, and they support each other. They love each other, and they love their football team. And for good reason. They are top notch, top class.
Funny story in the actual Tarboro. We were in the press box, and Jonas Pope came up to me. He was talking to me about News Observer. He was talking to me about there was some story of a kid who was close to Tarboro who could have went to Tarboro, and one of the coaches from Tarboro said, "Could you imagine if we would have had him on our team?" He said, "Coach, you won 2 straight state championships. What more do you want?"
Yeah, that's a luxury to say.
He's like, "You won by 40 in the state championship game. What did you win by
I watched that game start to finish. That game was just. I mean, that's what Tarboro does. They punish you running the football. That Tarboro team, man, it's hard to stop.
Of course, a guy punishing people, of course, is Xavier Bowden.
Another great transition by Kyle.
Yeah, Goldsboro. Goldsboro guy from the borough to the world, as we like to say here in Goldsboro. He's been one of the best players in Wayne County for many years, and this was a good way to cap off his career. I know he was kind of disappointed in how much he got to play, but that's kind of how All-Star games are for football. When you find something that works, you keep going to it. But, shout out to him for being a team player. He in the fourth quarter, he paved the way for Keon Cottle runs. I think 3 or 4 runs he lined up at fullback, and he played. Boom.
Yeah,
that was
the biggest adjustment of the game.
Yeah.
The East going to a 2-back set where he's the fullback, and he's just leading the way for Keon up all the way down the field where nobody can move for about 2.5 quarters. No one can move the football. Right, and then they finally found something. Yeah,
they broke that out. He actually got one fullback dive, and I think he got about 12 or 15 yards, somewhere in that range.
It shows a lot that I know he was kind of frustrated with his playing time, but it shows a lot that he could go out there and make winning plays. You can make winning plays without touching the football. It's the same thing with soccer and football. Yeah. You can make an impact in many different ways, and he did, and he definitely did.
Yeah. So shout out to him. He's going to Independence Community College. He's going to Independence Community College to play linebacker. Actually, he's been a running back, but last year he averaged 10 yards a carry. Of course, but he's massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I say he's like 6'2", 6'3", probably 230, 240, and
I don't even believe that. That dude's.
I will say he's huge. Like if you look at him,
if you see him in person, that's
not the guy I'm getting in front of. I'm making the business decision. I'm dropping down.
Go by. He's my security guard from now on. That's it. So Kai, I hear you're starting a new series. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, going from the East West All-Star football game to this series, which is called the Building Block Series. I am detailing, kind of the off season. I spend a day with the team, practice, see how they do things, just kind of go behind the scenes and kind of show people, what's going on in these football practice. Football is a game where you practice a lot more than you play. There's a lot more preparation that goes into it than actual game time. What you see on Fridays is actually the easy stuff for a lot of coaches and players' opinions. If you play harder, if practice is harder than the actual games, then you're likely a winning football program. And I'm going behind the scenes. You know, I've already gotten the first one was Green Central. I've already got that one filmed. Of course, I got a clip of it. I'm going to show you to a little trailer. You know, so we'll show you that in a second. But you know, next I'll just work my way through Wayne County. Then eventually we'll get to Johnson County. And I'm hoping I can get to every single school before school is out. I mean, before
school begins.
No, before football begins.
Before, I believe the first week of games is the 23rd or 30th.
Yeah, something
23rd?
like that. You know, I mean, because you know they got the jamborees before then.
Yes, I was told about some jamborees that are going on in the area. Yes.
Yeah, those jamborees they get going quickly, and you got to cover them because you got to see what's going on and who's going to be who. And that always is a good place to show, you know, especially if teams don't have injuries. But I'm excited about the series. I think it's important just to see, you know, how the meat is made. You know, kind of, you know, to show people what these players are going through and how much preparation it takes, just all leading up into this one day. I mean, to this one game and then this, you know, this marathon of a season. You know, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You really have to make it through. You know, when you look at teams, you know, it's some teams the marathon is a little bit easier just because of how they prepare or because of who they're playing or because of you know, a litany of things, you know. And, you know, of course, some teams have it harder. You know, you deal with injuries, you deal with, you know, people, you know, being ineligible or you deal with different things like that. So I think it's important just to kind of show, you know, how these teams are preparing. So here's a clip from the building blocks, and we'll be right back after that with goodbye.
Hey, hard work on three, hard work on three.
What does it take?
Hard work.
What does it take to be a winning football team? It takes hard work, dedication, preparation, doing the little things right. Every day is an opportunity to get better. It's months of putting time in, being accountable to your teammates, and most of all, loving the grind. The off season is where winning seasons are built. These are the building blocks.
Hey guys, hey, another good Tuesday.
All right, you know, I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy that clip, and you know, I'm hoping that you'll watch the series and tune in. Of course, we got plenty of content already on the YouTube for, you know, the East-West All-Star Game, highlights from ECI. We got a whole bunch of different things up there, just ready to get the season started. It's so close now. This is. You know, a lot of sports writers after the East-West All-Star Game is when they start kind of getting in season shape. You know, really, that's when the off season is kind of over for us. You know, so like anything to add?
I think you nailed it. It is kind of like the dead period for us as well, for our sports writers. But
there's a lot of sports writers that go on vacation at this time, or either they've gone on vacation during this time because hey, there's not much going on. But now everything's about to get back going.
Yeah, I already did my vacation, so it's good to be back. I know you missed us, right? You guys definitely missed us.
Yeah, they definitely missed us.
But yes, thank you so much again for watching. You can follow us on Twitter at WJG_sports. Subscribe to the YouTube channel WJG Sports, and hit the bell for notifications on when we post stuff. And yeah, exactly like that. That's how it's going to sound. And then, I know you guys might be confused on what the website name is.
It's WeJournalGreatSports.com/WP.
Yes, that's the site that has all the content.
Yeah.
And be on the lookout for more from Kai, and maybe even more for myself. I'm definitely going to get started at some point soon. So thank you again so much.
Yep. And, anything else we have to add? I don't think we've got anything.
I think it's good. I think it's a good first episode back.
Well,
right?
I think that episode 3 is now a wrap. Of course, next time we're thinking about having a guest on. So if there's somebody you think we should have on, maybe leave a comment. And, even if we don't get them next episode, we'll get them at some point. At least we'll try to. If you make it reasonable.
We are very much looking forward to having guests on the show. And we out.